lovely people. Welcome to my virtual couch. Happy whatever day this video comes out. It's been a while since I released a video, but the last video that I released was with Elia Omari, who is a health and well-being specialist, and we talked about childhood diabetes. So if you have not seen that video, please check it out. I learned a lot. I do not work with children. And so this is an area of topic that was new to me, and I really did learn a lot. So please make sure you check out that video. Life has been so busy. I am working on a big project that will be hopefully in completion in a few months. So once that is done, hopefully I can share it with you all. But that has been taking up a lot of my time. So I'm going to try and be consistent again, but this project is really taking up a lot. So again, hopefully when I'm done, I can share that with you all. So while I'm no gossip guru, there has been a lot happening in the world, and I wanted to share my thoughts on the shenanigans of the world, okay? So first, I want to say RIP to Hydeia Broadbent. If you don't know who she is, I might be telling my age a little bit, but I remember when she came out. She's an AIDS advocate. I remember when she came out on Oprah nearly a decade ago. Please Google her. This is a girl that was, she was adopted. Her original mom was addicted to drugs and alcohol. Like if you Google her, if you just see her face, like you may not have known her, but her face is plastered everywhere. She was found to have HIV when she was like 3.5 years old. She was born addicted to, I think, crack cocaine. Like when the mom gave birth to her, she was already came out the womb addicted to crack cocaine. And this is just, wow. I mean, they projected that she would not live as long as she lived. She died at age 39, and 3 decades longer than they projected, okay, for her to live. So the fact that she made it to 39, it's amazing. And you have to keep in mind, she came out at a time where AIDS was known to just be prominent amongst gay men, gay white men at the time. So she gave a different face to the disease, and really was a frequent speaker at schools and churches. And I just remember her when she was on Oprah. And that's where I was like, wow, like she already came out of the womb with the cards stacked against her. But for her to live to age 39, and even though that is very young, I think that's amazing. So RIP to her. I hope her family is doing well despite the circumstances. And I hope that her family is being surrounded by just love. But when I heard about her death, I cried. That made me very sad. So many things we need to talk about. First, I also want to talk about the situation with Kelly Rowland. News media came out basically saying, oh, Kelly's a diva. Her dressing room was not big enough, so she left, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like it's very unfair because, number one, Kelly has not come out and said anything. I think, I don't know Kelly Rowland personally, but to me, Kelly Rowland seems to be the most unproblematic celebrity. So I feel like there's more to it than that. I feel like they were probably trying to play in her face. And I don't like that they're pitching her against J-Lo, because J-Lo has nothing to do with it. It could have been somebody else in the bigger dressing room. I have a feeling that it's more than just a dressing room. I have a feeling that maybe there were things that she was promised that just somebody dropped the ball somewhere. And even if it is a dressing room situation, maybe it was one of those things where they promised it to her and they give it to somebody else, like trying to play in her face. I've also heard something about like The questions that they asked her was not appropriate. You know, it's not easy being Beyonce's best friend's sister and living in Beyonce's shadow. So if she was like, do not ask me any questions about Beyonce, and then she saw that they asked her questions about Beyonce, yeah, that would tick me off too. So I feel like sometimes, you know, as a Black woman, people play in your face and expect you to be humble. And then typically I do like Bethany Frankel, but Bethany, stay out of this. Shut up. The fact that Bethany is like, oh, just be humble. Oh, this is a privilege for you to be there. Bethany, you don't know what's going on. Like, cut it out. I don't like that. I don't like when people try to make it seem like people kind of gaslight you to make things to be what it really isn't. So unless Kelly Rowland comes out and says, this is what happened, I'm going to take the news stories with a grain of salt, because we have not known Kelly Rowland to be problematic. We have not known her to be, you know, a diva. We don't know any of that. So this just does not sound on brand. Now, if you mention another celebrity, you know, I might be like, okay, that sounds more like her. But Kelly Rowland storming out because her dressing room was not big enough, that really don't make sense to me, you know. So I don't know. We'll see what they say. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Monique. Now that is one celebrity that is so problematic that if she stormed out because of a dressing room, I would believe her, okay? So Monique went on the Club Shay Shay, which is Shannon Sharp's podcast or YouTube video. And basically, you know, Monique's story is always the same, and I agree with her with some points. If she was owed money, pay her money. If Oprah, you know, blackballed her, that needs to be known. I don't think Oprah's ever going to say something. I don't think Tyler Perry's ever going to say something. But I find it interesting that she is insistent on getting an apology from Oprah and Tyler Perry. And she's not willing to humble herself to apologize to her own son. So she's not keeping the same energy. So she's basically like, oh, well, you know, I apologize to my son. And if it is what it is, and I just got to let it go and let it be. And I'm like, why can't you say the same thing about Tyler Perry and Oprah? Like, well, you know, it just is what it is. I can't force an apology out of them. I gotta move on. And I'm just like, Monique, go repair your issue with your son. Okay? The son released a video, and I believe every word that he said. First of all, the son is in his mid-30s. This man has not come out and said anything about Monique prior to all this. When you go on his TikTok or his Instagram handle, it doesn't say comedian Monique's son. Like, he's not trying to gain clout off of Monique. And when he came out, he was very eloquent. First of all, as a therapist, it really ticked me off that the son is talking to his mom, and then Monique's husband, daddy, responds to the son. Stay out of it. And that's the problem right there. A son is addressing his mom only because his mom brought his name up in an interview. And then he has the nerve, the husband, has the nerve to address the son and then talk about his mental health issues. That don't mean it, just because you have a mental health issue, that don't make you a liar. Like, that really ticked me off. And then Monique, you are sitting there looking so stupid, like, yeah, go ahead. Like, that is your firstborn. And I think that people forget. You have said publicly that you were a terrible mother, okay? It is your job as a parent to repair the relationship with you and your son. So you sitting by and letting your husband address your son, first of all, really weird, because they were best friends, and the son used to call him uncle, whatever his name was, Sydney, whatever his name is, I don't know. And then they went from being best friends to being in a relationship to being married. So yeah, that could be confusing to the son. So the son wanted to call him daddy, and he said no, which is weird because Monique calls him daddy. So that was already a strange dynamic. But it really ticked me off that Monique is not putting this much energy into repairing the relationship between her and her son. But you want everybody that has done you wrong to make amends. Where's your amends to your son? Where's your amends to your son? Get it together, Monique. And honestly, I feel like Monique would have gotten a little bit more further in her career if her husband is just not. It just reminds me of a Wendy Williams, Kevin Hunter situation. If one day daddy is to leave her, we're going to see a quick downfall like we're witnessing with Wendy Williams. And speaking of Wendy Williams, it does really, really break my heart to see the status of where she is. Clearly, Wendy Williams has always had some issues, either with alcoholism or mental health or her health, her grave disease, whatever, or her lymphoma, whatever is going on. But Kevin leaving, you know, the mind and the body are one. So when the mind is not right, that impacts the body. So Kevin leaving clearly caused a quick downturn. To me, it seems like there's a lot of leeches around this woman, and I think it's really unfortunate that there's no one there to protect her. No one. I think it's also unfortunate because the documentary is coming out. First of all, we know that Wendy Williams, number one, whether you like her or you hate her, she's the best to have ever done it. So we're going to give her the credit there. But I also think that if you knew Wendy Williams and used to watch her show, you know that Wendy Williams was a very, very private person. The Wendy Williams that we know, let me adjust this, sorry y'all. The Wendy Williams that we know would have never allowed something like this. And I think it's a shame that she's got leeches around her trying to expose her like this. And apparently her niece filed a lawsuit to try to stop this documentary from coming out. Hopefully it does happen, because I do think Wendy Williams need to be protected. People are saying this is her karma, and people stop it. This is not her karma. She was a celebrity entertainer, a talk show host. People do hot topics all the time. She opened the doors for many. Cut it out, folks. I think it's very cruel to say this is her karma. I don't like it. Y'all, let's talk about this. Who the F did I marry? TikToker Risa Tisa. First of all, I don't have TikTok, okay? So my friend Fee sent me this series. I love her and hate her at the same time, because I was like, what is this? And yes, I'm ashamed to admit that I watched all 50 parts. So I'm gonna do a separate video on that later, because I have a lot to say. But you know, as a therapist, this kind of intrigues me because I really want to study Legion. I mean, yeah. So I wanna study him, but I'm gonna talk about that in another. Let's talk about Beyonce. So y'all know I love Beyonce. What do y'all think about her coming out with a country album? I don't know. You know, Beyonce is going to draw the crowd wherever she goes. I don't know. The songs have to grow on me. You know, I'm a beehive, so I will follow her wherever she goes. I don't like that people are dissing her for going country, because do your history about Black people and country people. I don't think Beyonce is appropriating a culture. I think she's just reclaiming what's ours. So I think people need to give it a rest. Like, I think people need to give Beyonce a chance. This is Beyonce. She's gonna do it tastefully. She's gonna pay homage to those that deserve it. Beyonce can do no wrong. I'm with it. So guys, just wanted to drop a quick little video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will be back soon. Bye guys. Do your thing, Beyonce. Do your thing, Beyonce.